Hello everyone, welcome to the yarn bowl. Today in this video we're gonna see how to work this flower stuffy keyring charms. I have worked them in Tunisian crochet stitch, which gives them a unique look and they are very pretty. And if you want a free written pattern of this keyring charms, it's available in my website theyarnbowlcrochet.com. Link for that is available in the description. And if you have an Instagram account, do follow me on my Instagram handle as well. I post project updates and fun reels on my Instagram. And if you are new to this channel, please do not forget to subscribe to the Yarn Bowl and click on the bell icon as well so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. So you can use 2 colors of size 4 yarn of your choice and 3.5mm crochet hook to work this flower keyring charm. So with the color white, I'm going to work a magic ring, and in that magic ring I'm going to work 5 single crochet stitches. So this will be my round 1. So go ahead, work a magic ring and 5 single crochets on the magic ring. So once you have done working 5 single crochet, tighten the magic ring, and we're going to work in a spiral, so don't work slip stitch on the first stitch. We're going to work round 2 right away. So for round 2 I'm going to work 2 single crochets on each stitch around. So at the end of round 2 I will have 10 single crochet stitches. So go ahead, work 2 single crochets on each stitch around. Mark your first stitch with a stitch marker. So since we are working in a spiral, we'll lose count of which is our first stitch of the round, and proceed working 2 single crochet on each stitch around. So you should have 10 stitches at the end of round 2. Once you are done working round 2, tighten your magic ring even more and secure it with the knot. And then we'll proceed working round 3. So for working round 3, I'm going to work 1 single crochet in one stitch and 2 single crochet on the next stitch around. So mark your first stitch with a stitch marker and proceed to work 1 single crochet in one stitch and 2 single crochet on the next stitch around. So I have worked 1 single crochet in the first stitch. I'm marking it with the stitch marker, and then I'll work 2 single crochet on the next stitch, and then proceed working 1 single crochet in one stitch and 2 single crochet on the next stitch around. So at the end of round 3 we will have 15 single crochet stitches. Now go ahead, work 1 single crochet in one stitch and 2 single crochet on the next stitch around. So with this we'll complete working with this white yarn, and we'll start working the petals. So now after working round 3, we will work a slip stitch on top of our first stitch. So you can fasten off the yarn and work a slip stitch on the starting stitch and weave the ends. So we are done working our central portion of the flower. Now we'll go ahead work the petals. So we have 15 stitches at this white yarn, which is the center of our flower. We are going to work 1 petal in every 3 stitches. So we'll consume all the 15 stitches and we'll end up having 5 petals. So insert your pink yarn or any color of yarn of your choice to any of these stitches. So as I told you earlier, we'll use 3 stitches for 1 petal. So since we have 15 stitches in this white round, we'll end up having 5 petals. So after you have attached to your pink yarn, work 5 chains. So now we have one loop on the hook. Now turn your chain, you will have these back bumps on each chain. So we are going to insert our hook on each of these back bumps, which is our third loop, and pull up a loop. So it's going to be a little bit difficult, so don't work your chains too tight, and insert your hook through these back bumps and pull up a loop. So we have worked 5 chains, so we're gonna end up having 5 loops plus 1 loop which is already on our hook. So we'll have 6 loops on our hook. So once you have worked through all these 5 chains and have 6 loop on the hook, we'll insert our hook on the stitch where we have inserted our pink yarn to start with and pull up a loop. Now we'll have 7 loops on the hook. Now we'll work the return pass. We'll yarn over and pull through 2 loops. This is our first return pass, and we'll proceed working this way till the end, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. We'll work this 6 times until we have 1 loop on the hook. That's it, we have worked our first row. Now for row 2 we'll work a chain 1, and we have 1 loop on the hook now, and we'll gather this back bump loops like we have done before on each of these stitches. So since we have worked a chain 1, we'll end up having 6 stitches, and we'll end up having 7 loops on the hook once we insert our loop on each of these back bumps and pull up a loop. Now we'll insert our hook on the same stitch where we have worked our row 1, and we'll start working the return pass. We'll yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and we'll do that 7 times until we have 1 loop on the hook. Now we'll not work a chain 1. Instead we'll insert our hook on the third loop of each of these next 6 stitches and pull up a loop until we have 7 loops on the hook, and then instead of working on the same stitch where we have worked our row 1 and row 2, we'll insert our hook on the next stitch and work our pull up a loop and work our return passes, which is yarn over, pull through 2 loops until we have 1 loop on the hook. So we worked return passes 7 times, and then again we're going to repeat the same thing whatever we have done on the row 3. For this row we're going to insert on the same stitch where we have worked our row 3, and we'll work return passes. So now we have worked our row 4. Row 5 we are going to repeat whatever we have worked on the row 4, except that while inserting on the round 3 of white yarn, we'll work on the next stitch. We'll use up the next stitch. So we're going to use up our next stitch and pull up a loop, and then we'll work our return passes. So now we have worked our row 5. So we're going to work our row 6. So for row 6 we are not going to work on the first stitch. We'll skip our first stitch and then insert our hook on the next stitch's third loop and pull up a loop, and we'll continue working on the rest of the stitches by inserting our hook on the third loop and pulling up a loop, and we'll end up having 6 loops on the hook, and we'll use the same stitches where we have worked our previous row, pull up a loop and work return passes. So we are almost done working petal, our first petal. Now we'll see how to finish up this petal. We'll insert the hook on the third loop of first stitch and work slip stitch, and then we'll insert your hook on the third loop of the next stitch, work a slip stitch, and we'll continue working slip stitches 5 times, and then insert. Once you are done working slip stitches 5 times, insert your hook on the same stitch where we have worked our previous 2 rows and work our final slip stitch. So that's it, one petal is done. So we're going to repeat this 5 more times to work 5 petals. So I'm going to work a slip stitch on the next stitch to start working my next petal, and then we'll work 5 chains like we have started our first petal, and repeat everything all over again. We'll gently twist our chain, insert your hook on the third loop of each of these 5 chains and pull up a loop, and we'll end up having 6 loops on the hook, and then we'll insert your hook on the same stitch where we have started our chain 5 and pull up a loop. We'll have 7 loops on the hook, and then we'll yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops 6 times, which is our written pass, and then we'll do that until we have 1 loop on the hook. Then we'll work a chain 1 and then turn your work, and then insert our hook on the third loop of each of the stitches and pull up a loop. We'll have 7 loops on the hook, and then we'll insert our hook on the same stitch where we have worked our row 1 and work our written passes until we have 1 loop on the hook. And from now on we'll not work a chain 1, we'll just turn your stitch and insert your hook on the third loop of each of the stitches, pull up a loop, and repeat whatever we have done for our petal 1. So keep repeating the same pattern if you want to refer the petal 1. If you have any doubts, or follow the written pattern which you can find in the description, and keep up with the video and keep working the petals. So as I told you earlier, we're going to consume 3 stitches for every petal. So we have 15 stitches with the round 3 which we have worked on our white yarn. So we'll end up having 5 petals. So follow the video, keep working the petals, and I'll meet you once we are done with our second petal. So now we have worked our second petal. We're going to keep repeating this until we have worked our 5 petals. Now I am on the last row of my 5th petal, in which we work the slip stitches, and we'll work slip stitch on the same stitch of where we have started this row 6 of our 5th petal, and then we'll work one more slip stitch on the same stitch where we have started off this petal at all, like our first petals, first row. Now you will leave a long tail. I'll tell you why. We'll work chain once we have worked one more flower and attach them. So to this chain we'll attach our keyring. So I have worked a long chain and work one more flower with the same pattern. Now we'll place these two flowers in such a way that wrong side goes inside, and with this long chain which we have left in one of the petals, attach a tapestry needle or sewing needle and work slip stitches or stitches, sew them, working on the back loop of each of the stitches on your petal. Work stitches along the back loop of these two flowers, working on each of the stitches of the petal, and you will be stuffing your work with polyfill as you go. So once you have sewed your first petals together, you will stuff this with polyfill and keep stuffing as you sew along. So now you'll keep working this way, sewing along the back loop stitches and stuffing each of your petals as you go, and knock your stitches, and we'll still have this yarn that working on, or which we are using it for sewing the petals to work our chains. So that's why I told you to leave a long tail which we are using for sewing, as well as we'll be working for working our chain at the end once we have stuffed all the petals. So I'm proceeding to work stitches around and stuffing my petals along, and once I'm done I'll make sure there is no gap. I'll sew them thoroughly around, and we'll work our chains in which we'll attach the keyring. So I'm almost done stuffing and working my stitches, and once I'm done I'll fasten off, and still I'm going to leave this tail for working the chain. So now make a loop with your hook, insert through any of the stitches and pull up a loop and start working your chains. So I'll be working roughly 20 to 25 chains. You can, there's no count to it. If you want a small loop, you can work smaller number of chains, or depending on the loop that you're gonna make with this chain, you can adjust the chain counts. And once you're done working 20 to 25 chains, you can make a loop and work slip stitch to the starting stitch where we have started this chain, and then you can fasten off and weave your ends, and then you can insert the yarn bit inside the flower using the blunt tip of a crochet hook or a duet stick. So now our cute little flower keyring charm is done. So this Tunisian crochet gives it a unique look to these charms, and they are super easy to make. I hope you enjoyed the pattern. So try this and let me know your comments. And if you want a free written pattern of these charms, it's available in my website, theyarnbowlcrochet.com. That is available in the description. If you have an Instagram account, do follow me on my Instagram as well. I post project updates and fun reels on my Instagram. I hope you enjoyed this pattern. Please do not forget to subscribe to the Yarn Bowl and click on the bell icon as well. Thanks for watching. Bye.